Let's now jump over to my computer and I'm going to walk you through a presentation if you're selling something that's of a higher price point. So these consults are normally somewhere between 30, 45-ish minutes. So let's have a look at how they flow when you're selling something that's a little bit of a higher price point on your value ladder.
Okay, so when the sales consult is for a high-end product worth over $500, here are the steps that I want you to take as you walk through the conversation. So if you can try and cover the bulk of these, you won't want to have this like super overly scripted, right? Because there's quite a few points. But if you just read through these and have these in mind and try and pepper these in as you go, use this as your formula, your structure, you'll find it much easier to convert in a consult. So a few things. Firstly, make sure that you set up the conversation in a way that the client, the whole way that you want to be thinking about this is that the client makes up the solution themselves. So you don't want to be telling them what they need to do. You want to be kind of showing them where they're at, where they want to be, and guiding them to that end solution. That's kind of our whole aim. So make sure that you always set an agenda before the call. And what exactly are you trying to achieve out of this call? So if you need to do any research on the company or anything about them, if they're an individual or anything like that, do the research before. If you're doing really high-end deals, you want to do research. But if you've just got a normal sort of $1,000 program or $2,000 program, you probably won't need to do much on this, but at least know who they are and why you're talking to them. Now, after you've done that, you'll want to make sure that you start the conversation with a really positive tone. So I always start, if I'm on a Skype call or sometimes if I'm doing a phone call, make sure that you're smiling. You start in a positive tone and you let them know how excited you are that they've joined you and hey, you've got some, after, finding out more about them, you've got some great ideas and things that you want to run through and that you're really excited to get started. So thank them for their time and let them know you're excited to get started with what you're going to be sharing with them next. Then I always map out the plan of the call. So I always say how long the call is going to go for, right? So that they know and I know that we've got a limited amount of time together. I'm not here for the next 3 hours to do a free coaching call. I'm here for the next 30 minutes or whatever it is. And this is what I want to get out of the call, right? So I want to discover where you're at, where you want to be, the steps that need to take place to get there, whatever it is that you're helping people with. This means that you're now in control of the conversation, because you're the one leading it. Don't think that this is stepping on someone's toes. They're coming to you because they don't know how to solve their problem. They're coming to you because you're the expert. So people actually appreciate it when you step up and take leadership of the call that you've asked them to schedule, right? Don't let them set it. They won't get the most out of your time together if they set it. They don't know how you can help. That's your job. So be okay with owning that conversation and owning the structure and taking leadership early. Now, the next thing you want to do is start asking questions. It's all about the questions because you want to ask questions that get them thinking about where they're at right now. So questions about, so where are you at right now? Tell me a little bit about why now's the right time for you. Or what's the number one, like the biggest challenge that you're struggling with at the moment? Why, when you saw this opportunity, did you think, yes, this is the next step for me. I need to talk with me, right? Why was that with Grace or with whoever it is? Why is now the time for you? And get them to start talking through. Sometimes they'll say a superficial thing. Ask a question about it, right? Go back into that issue. Sometimes I might say something that's superficial, and if you really dig deep, you're able to identify the real issues. Sometimes it's like, in my scenario, it might be something like, I get overwhelmed by tech. And then when we dig down, I'm actually like, we find out, I actually don't have any confidence in myself and what I'm trying to sell, or I feel like I'm not credible enough, and I kind of try and get back to the core reasons as to why they're having a problem. And I don't tell them what the reasons are. I just keep asking questions until they say what the reasons are. This is what I'm talking about, where they have to identify their problem and the solution and kind of agree on that themselves. They have to get them to that point themselves, and you guide them towards it. Now, when it comes to the next step, I always try and identify 3 issues, right? And get them to dive into those issues. And if you think it's just a surface issue and that's not the real issue, try and hone in on what the real issue is. Once you've identified it, I want you to tell them now that you're going to map what you're thinking of in terms of solving their problems, right? And once I've done that, I'll usually use what I call what I'm hearing is statements. So I'll say, okay, so what I'm hearing is you've got a problem with this and you're struggling to do this. but you know that you need to do this. Does that sound about right? And they'll often say yes, right? So just basically, they've already told you exactly what their problem is and kind of what they need from you. And all you have to do is repeat their words back to them. So just kind of summarize their words back to them. And after you've done that, get them to confirm and agree with you. And they will agree with you because they literally just said that to you, right? You're just kind of reiterating and reminding them about what their problems are and what they need help with. And so it makes it a very easy conversation when you're just reiterating back to them what they've just said to you. So as you go, check if what you're saying actually aligns with them. And so keep checking back with them. Now, the next thing you want to do is going to offer them the solution. Again, this should basically be a combination of the words they just gave to you. So use those 3 main desires that you've found that the client wants, and show them how your product or service meets those desires. So when you're providing the solution, if someone said, I really just want to be able to sleep through the night. I want to do some activities with my child so that I can get them to sleep through the night. That's when you say, so because from what you told me just then, you're wanting to have your child sleep through the night, I really think that's going to be our first priority, and that's what I'm able to help you with in this particular program. See how that's not a sell? They've just told you, here's what I'm struggling with. You've got them to, identify those a little bit deeper and really kind of agitate and niggle on those. And then you've got them to tell you what they actually want to achieve and what a good result looks like for them. And you just tell them, I agree with you and I can help you do that. Right? In my program, I help people sleep through the night. And they've just told you that's exactly what they need. We stop selling at that point, which is really exciting. So at the end of when you kind of say, right, so I know that you mentioned that you want to have your child sleep through the night. That's exactly what we do in our sleep training program, which I recommend. Normally that just takes 3 days or something like that. And that's a program that can help you get there faster and have the support you need to do that. And then you also mentioned that you needed someone you could bounce, parenting questions off. And so for that, I recommend that we've got weekly coaching calls where I go through with the group and you can ask any questions you've got at all and I can answer those for you so that you don't get stuck on those challenges or just go trial and error with those. I can actually help you with any challenges you're facing with your child or whatever it is, right? And so those kinds of being able to match up their desire and problems with your solutions becomes very easy. Now, remember too, you've always got the option of feeling like, this person isn't a good fit for your program and you're not able to help them in the way they need to be helped. And be real about that. If that's the case at the end of those kind of discovery questions when you've really honed out the problem and the desires, if that's the end solution, that you're probably not a great fit for them or they're not a great fit for you, be honest with that and just say that. But if they are, let them know that you feel like they are a good fit for the program. And if you've really listened to their problems and you've provided a real solution to their problems, then it's going to be a very easy next step, right? Let them know that you can help them with this based on those programs you just talked about. And I think would be a great fit and can make this happen in this amount of time. Fantastic, right? Does that sound like a good plan? So I'll normally map out a plan. I'll normally say what I want you to do is work on the sleep training first because I really think that we can get that done within 3 days and just kind of hit that one on the head. Once we've got that done, we're then going to move on to blah, and then we'll then take the next step towards blah. So kind of paint a little bit of a pathway. Use the word we a lot and don't say the word could or should. Say the word will, right? So we will, not we could then do this, we will. It's called future pacing and it's kind of painting this picture and putting them in it already, just assuming that they're going to go ahead and kind of getting that action plan together. So when they start, they basically start going on that journey with you and imagining themselves following those steps with you because you haven't said we could do this or we should do that. You've said, and then we will do this. And then we will focus on this. And then we will solve this, right? So you go through those steps and kind of put them in the picture with you. And at that point, you then ask them if that sounds like a good fit. And they will, in almost every single case, be able to say yes. Next, start talking about any details you need to cover off. Is there any pricing you need to confirm? Are there any requirements or add-ons or things you need to knuckle down in terms of details? Are there any timings or things that you need to lock in with them? And kind of verify that again, make sure that it's aligning with them. So the next thing you want to do is start talking about the details of your actual program. So you just confirm, okay, so the price is this, it goes for this long, or I'll need these things from you to get started, you'll get access to this, whatever it looks like, right? And say, so does that sound like a plan? Does that sound like something that meets your requirements and the next best step for you? And just go silent. Don't try and keep talking. I learnt this one really early on from my father, who was in sales and knew quite a bit about this kind of stuff. And he always told me the person that talks first loses, right? So once you've presented the offer, I used to be the person that would go, so does that sound like a plan? Does that sound like a good next step for you? That's probably something we could get started on now. Or if you can't get started on it now, at least would you like to get started on this sometime in the future? Because we don't have to start today. We could start in 4 weeks' time. If that is better for you, we could... Grace, shut up. Right? So does that sound like a plan? Just wait. Because I promise you, if you've provided a solution to their problems, the answer is going to be yes. But just keep checking back in with them and keep getting them to say yes, 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 so that you don't go from like, hey, what's your problem, to, hey, want to pay me $2,000. We're kind of getting those mini commitments along the way. Then let them know, well, let's get started ASAP. I don't want to delay any further. I want to just clarify a few things with you though. I just need a few things to get started. So firstly, and then off you go collecting the details. So I always say before I collect details, because people sometimes don't want to share details, particularly credit card numbers and things like that. So I say things like, I'll normally do the credit card number last. And I'll normally say, so I just want to check a few things with you first and start locking in other things. So for example, in my inner circle, I'll start talking about the kit because I need to get the kit out in the post to them. So I talk about the benefit stuff first before we get down to the pointy end of credit card numbers. So I want to get the pack in the post to you. I just want to confirm your postal address, blah. All right, so I want to schedule our first coaching call. When works for you? Because I've got, I know you mentioned before that Mondays are good for you. How does Monday at 2 o'clock work? Yeah, so kind of start locking in details of things that are benefit focused. And then you might say, now I just wanted to confirm, I want to do a bit of research on you before. Just wanted to confirm an email address of the best email to send through a quiz that I want you to do, or whatever it is for you, right? So just confirming your email address. Is this email address correct? Awesome. Keep an eye on your inbox because I'm going to send you out a few things that I want you to have a look at there as well. And then just finally, the payment. So I just need a credit card details. If you're able to let me know those for the best card to charge for the however much dollars. And you get an invoice in your inbox as soon as the process has gone through. And off they go reading out the credit card number. Once it's confirmed, you then need to tell them exactly what the next step is. So once I get the credit card, I always say, fantastic, so you are all locked in. Here's what's going to happen next. And off I go telling them, so you're going to get an email from me, you're going to receive your pack in the post or whatever it is. And then finally at the end, you get to welcome them into your community. So you say, confirm back. So sounding good? Yes, wonderful. Well, welcome to the community. We're going to have so much fun together. Thank you for your time today. And I can't wait to blah with you. I can't wait to see you on the next consult, or see you at the retreat, or have you join me inside a coaching call soon, or whatever it looks like. And it's a good opportunity to I find if there are any specific questions, they normally come up around here when you present the solution, or around here around step 12 or 13 when you go solution, or you start talking about the details of the program. And because I try and check in with them each time I talk on a new topic, or we start broaching something new, because I keep checking in with them, I will normally, if there's any outrageous questions that really need to be answered, they've normally already been answered by that point. You can at the end close it off and say, is there anything else I can help you with? But normally I just let them know if you've got any other questions, just hit reply to the email I'm about to send you and I'll be able to hook you up. Just because I don't want to start coaching basically in that call. That's for the allotted time. This is a consult for the program, not a coaching for us to start talking about, the actual subject matter. So I tend to just, explain anything that I can quickly, and then let them know that if they do have questions in the future, just hit reply to the email, or whatever your process is normally for answering questions. And there you have it. So the first few times you use this, you'll be a little bit green. And then with practice, it'll start just being a normal part of your conversation. I had to have bullet points in front of me for the first probably 10 calls I did. And then after that, it just flowed. I just knew exactly what I should be saying next, and it kind of flowed really naturally. The first few probably felt like I was checking back on my notes a bit, but practice makes perfect, and in time, you'll be a consult machine. So let's do it.